Have you ever noticed how quickly respect disappears when you give away too much of yourself? Think about it. Every time you share a private detail, every time you expose your fears or your past mistakes, you hand someone a piece of your power. And the truth is, once your power is given away, it's almost impossible to get it back. Privacy isn't about hiding. It's about protecting. It's about knowing that the strongest version of you does not need constant validation or approval. The people who are truly powerful are not the ones who reveal everything. They are the ones who master the art of holding back. The world teaches us to open up, to tell it all, to bare our souls to others in the hope of connection. But connection without boundaries is dangerous. When you overshare, you give people ammunition. You expose weaknesses that can be turned against you. And here's the hardest truth: not everyone who listens cares about your well-being. Some people are waiting silently for the chance to use your words against you. Protecting your privacy is not selfish, it's survival. Respect flows naturally toward those who respect themselves. And self-respect begins with knowing what should remain yours alone. A woman who shares every detail of her struggles, every insecurity, every doubt, teaches others exactly where to wound her. But a woman who understands the value of silence creates an aura of strength. People look at her and know instinctively, this is someone not to be played with. Why? Because mystery commands respect. What is given too freely is taken for granted, but what is guarded is treated with care. Think about this. When someone tells you everything about themselves, do you feel inspired by them? Or do you start to lose interest? Human psychology is simple. What we cannot fully have, we desire more. What is too easily given, we stop valuing. Your privacy is not just protection, it is power. The less people know about your inner world, the more they respect the walls you've built. And those walls aren't prisons. They are boundaries that keep your dignity safe. When you guard certain parts of your life, you build a foundation of strength. Others may question, others may wonder, but deep down they will respect it, because self-control is rare. In a world where everyone is shouting their stories, the one who remains steady in silence holds a different kind of power. And that power is magnetic. It draws people in without you lifting a finger. You must understand this privacy is not weakness. It's the exact opposite. It's a shield that allows you to move through life without fear of being manipulated. Every detail you withhold is a detail no one can use to control you. The strongest women are not those who tell the world everything they've endured. They are the ones who smile with grace, carry themselves with dignity, and allow their silence to speak louder than their words ever could. Ask yourself, why do some people leave an unforgettable impression the moment they enter a room? It's because they carry themselves with an energy that says, I know my worth, and I don't need to prove it to you. That energy doesn't come from how much they reveal. It comes from how much they protect. When you learn to keep certain things private, you automatically teach others how to treat you. You teach them that your respect cannot be bought, that your heart cannot be played with, and that your life is not an open book for anyone to flip through. And here lies the reward for holding your silence: freedom. When you stop giving away every part of your soul, you free yourself from the chains of other people's opinions. You no longer live under the weight of their judgment because they don't hold the keys to your private world. You control what they see, and more importantly, you control what they'll never know. That control is priceless. It allows you to stand tall, unshaken, no matter what storm surrounds you. There is deep strength in knowing that not everything needs to be spoken. Not every wound needs to be revealed. Not every dream needs to be shared. Some things are sacred, and they belong only to you. That is where your power is hidden, in the silence, in the mystery, in the parts of you that no one else can touch. Protect that, guard that, and you will never again hand your power to someone who doesn't deserve it. Because at the end of the day, Privacy is not about shutting people out. It's about keeping your strength intact. It's about saying, I choose what you know, I choose what I share, and I choose to keep my power where it belongs with me. The reward for that choice is simple but life-changing: respect, dignity, and the unshakable confidence that no one can take away what you never gave them. When you hold your silence, you are not only protecting your privacy, you are training your emotions. The moment you stop explaining yourself to everyone, you begin to master one of the greatest strengths a person can ever develop: emotional control. This is where true attraction begins. It's not in how much you say. It's not in how much you reveal. It's in the ability to carry your emotions with grace without giving them away to people who have not earned the right to witness them. Emotional control is magnetic. People are drawn to those who appear calm, steady, and unshaken by chaos. And here is the psychology behind it. When you are unpredictable, when you don't reveal everything you feel, you become intriguing. You create a sense of mystery that naturally pulls others toward you. But the opposite is also true. When you constantly pour out your fears, when you share every conflict, when you expose every insecurity, you create an image of instability. That doesn't inspire respect. It invites judgment, pity, and in the worst cases, manipulation. Every time you hand your emotions to someone, you give them the power to decide how you feel about yourself. If they validate you, you rise. If they dismiss you, you crumble. But when you hold your emotions within, when you don't let the world dictate your peace, you rise on your own terms. That is independence. That is strength. And that is what makes people look at you and think, there's something about her I cannot shake. You must remember this: not everyone deserves access to your heart. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your struggles. The moment you stop telling the world how broken you feel, you stop handing people the script to your life. Instead, you keep your story in your own hands, where it belongs. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means you're no longer willing to let others control your narrative. When you protect your inner world, you build a shield around your peace, and peace is power. Imagine walking into every situation, not desperate to explain yourself, not needing anyone to understand your pain, not waiting for someone's approval. Imagine carrying yourself with the quiet confidence that no matter what happens, you are unshaken because your strength comes from within. That is the reward of emotional control. That is the power of holding your privacy close. And here's another truth. People trust those who trust themselves. When you are calm, when you are steady, when you don't reveal every chaotic thought running through your mind, people see you as someone who can handle life. That creates respect. It creates admiration. It even creates attraction. Because confidence is not about how loud you are. It's about how stable you are. And stability comes from mastering what you choose not to reveal. Think about the times when you've opened up to the wrong person. Did they carry your pain with care, or did they eventually use it against you? That experience is the reason emotional discipline matters. Not everyone is strong enough to hold what you share. Some people simply cannot handle the weight of your honesty. Others will turn it into gossip, judgment, or even betrayal. Protect yourself by keeping your deepest fears, your financial struggles, your family conflicts within the circle of your own strength. That doesn't mean you shut the world out. It means you understand the value of discernment, choosing carefully who has earned the right to hear your truth. What makes you powerful is not how much you speak, but how much you choose not to. Power is preserved in silence. Power is strengthened in self-control. Every time you resist the urge to overshare, you build your emotional armor. And that armor allows you to walk through life with a calm confidence that others will notice. They will see it in your eyes, they will feel it in your presence, and they will respect it without you saying a word. This is how you turn privacy into strength. This is how you transform silence into attraction. The less people know about your storms, the brighter they will see your light. And the brighter your light shines, the more influence you carry without ever needing to demand it. Influence born from mystery is unshackable. Influence born from oversharing fades the moment someone loses interest. Your emotions are yours. Guard them. Protect them. Let them be your hidden treasure, not a tool for others to measure your worth. Because the moment you stop giving everyone access to your inner world, you stop living for their approval and start living for your own peace. And peace is the ultimate power. It makes you untouchable, unshaken, and undeniably magnetic. Strength is not measured by how much you can endure in public. It is measured by how much you can carry in silence without letting the world see you break. The strongest women are not those who constantly announce their struggles. They are the ones who face them with calmness, protecting their dignity no matter what storms they endure. And this is where independence is born, not in being alone, but in knowing that no one else controls your peace, your story, or your strength. Independence comes from building a private foundation that no one can shake. When you stop letting others dictate your worth by how they respond to your honesty, you step into your own power. You no longer beg for understanding. You no longer explain yourself to those who have not earned that right. Instead, you stand firm, carrying an unshakable presence that says, I know who I am, and I don't need your approval to be whole. That energy cannot be faked. It is felt. It radiates from within you. And it comes only when you learn to guard your private life like the treasure it is. The truth is, the world doesn't respect those who give everything away. It respects those who protect themselves. People admire boundaries because boundaries show strength. When you reveal too much, you give away your leverage. You make yourself predictable, and predictability is never powerful. But when you protect what matters most, your dreams, your fears, your insecurities, you hold the advantage. No one knows how to move against you because they cannot see inside you. And that invisibility is power. There will always be voices telling you that vulnerability is connection. But real connection is not about emptying yourself to anyone who will listen. Real connection is about discernment. It is about knowing who deserves the deepest parts of you and who does not. The problem comes when you confuse attention with respect. Attention is easy to get when you overshare, but respect is only earned when you set limits. The woman who keeps her private world protected commands more respect than the one who puts it all on display. Because mystery is rare, and what is rare is always valued. Freedom comes when you realize you don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't have to prove your worth with your words. You don't have to justify your choices to people who don't understand your path. You don't have to explain your pain to people who cannot heal it. The moment you embrace this, you cut the strings of control others have over you. You free yourself from their opinions, their judgments, their expectations. You walk lighter, stronger, and clearer because your life belongs to you again. And here is the reward that so many overlook. When you protect your privacy, you create space for your confidence to grow. You stop relying on others to validate your choices. You stop waiting for permission to be yourself. Instead, you rise from within, steady and unshaken. Confidence built on privacy is unbreakable because no one can touch what they cannot see. No one can damage what they do not know. And no one can diminish the power you've chosen to keep safe within yourself. There comes a point when you realize that the greatest gift you can give yourself is peace. Not the kind of peace that comes from silence around you, but the kind that comes from silence within you. When you no longer need to announce every battle, when you no longer crave validation for every decision, when you stop measuring your worth by how much people understand you, you step into a different level of strength. That strength cannot be borrowed. It cannot be faked, and it cannot be stolen. It is built slowly through the discipline of privacy and the power of restraint. What many don't understand is that power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it's felt in your presence more than in your words. A woman who guards her private life radiates an energy that others can sense. She doesn't need to prove herself because her silence speaks louder than explanations ever could. She doesn't waste energy justifying her dreams or her choices. She lives them, and that quiet, unwavering certainty becomes her shield against judgment, doubt, and criticism. The world often mistakes silence for weakness, but in reality, silence is mastery. It means you no longer react to every voice around you. You no longer hand your emotions to people who haven't earned the right to carry them. You no longer let temporary opinions dictate your permanent identity. Instead, you move with clarity, choosing carefully what you reveal and what you protect. That discipline is rare, and anything rare becomes powerful. When you stop giving away every detail of your life, you begin to realize how much lighter you feel. Because oversharing doesn't just weaken your image, it drains your spirit. Every time you give someone access to your struggles, you invite their judgment, their advice, their interference. And most of the time, they cannot solve your problems. They can only weigh you down with their opinions. But when you keep your private world sacred, you remove the noise. You make room for your own voice. You allow yourself to listen to your own intuition without interruption. There is freedom in knowing that your life is not for public consumption. Not everyone deserves to know your plans. Not everyone deserves to know your fears. Not everyone deserves to know your scars. Some things are too valuable to be shared because once they are in the wrong hands, they lose their meaning. But when you protect them, they remain pure, powerful, and entirely yours. And this is what creates independence, the kind of independence that allows you to walk through life unshaken, even when the world around you is unstable.